And I just realized that I don't have Chase set up on camera. I knew I was forgetting something.
Oh, well.
So Chase looks like a big Skype screen right now, so I'll take care of that. I'm Neal McCready. You probably know me by now. Chase is here. I'll prove it to you in just a minute. Welcome into Hand Raise, guys, presented by Comer Heating and Air. Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. We'll tell you more about them in a minute. We'll let you guys join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline as well. For now, I'll let Chase just talk into the mic.
Say something, do something while you're fixing things. Oh, we're not even set up at all. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even notice that when I walked in. Usually we kind of pick that out. We've got some NFL on TV1 tonight. We have the Texans and the Panthers, and then on TV2 we've got the wonderful showdown between the Appalachian State Mountaineers and the Marshall Thundering Herd here on the TVs tonight. So we'll talk about whatever you guys want us to talk about. We will chat amongst ourselves a little bit as well. By now, you know this is not necessarily the big football show of the week, especially on a bye week. I have no idea what we can even go for from a football standpoint tonight. So we'll play off you guys, let you guys talk to us, tell us what you're thinking, and kind of go from there. Neal getting things produced effectively, getting it set up over here.
It's all done.
Okay.
It's been a day.
Mark, I haven't even seen the pairings. I've been kind of busy this afternoon. What are my Ryder Cup pairings in the morning? I mean, I do plan on watching a good bit, but what's the what are my pairings? I guess I can look them up and then.
Here, I'll find it.
Okay.
Let's see. Is this like heated? Do they hate each other in this, or do they pretend to not like each other? Or
the American team hates each other more than they hate the Europeans. It also is a little different dynamic now in 2021 when most of the Europeans live in Florida and pay U.S. taxes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not exactly like, hey, we don't see you. This is the grudge match of the century here.
All right, so here are the Friday morning foursomes.
We're doing foursomes in the morning? Okay.
Are you asking me?
Okay, good point. Sorry.
I mean, I'm reading here.
All right, for the non-golf.
I mean, I do a thing where I do, what he said, what he meant. In this case, this is what they said, and I'm assuming it's what they meant.
All right, so foursomes, for anybody not sure, is alternate shot. One person hits the drive, next person hits the next shot until the ball goes in the hole. So,
all right, so you got it 8:05. All these times are Eastern, so 8:05 Eastern, 7:05 Central.
Okay.
Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth.
Okay.
Against John Rahm and Sergio Garcia. At 8:21 Eastern, 7:21 Central, you have Dustin Johnson, Colin Morikawa against Paul Casey and Victor Hovland.
Okay.
At 8:37, so 7:37 Central, you have Brooks Koepka and Daniel Berger versus Lee Westwood and Matt Fitzpatrick. Okay. And then at 8:53 Eastern, 7:53 Central, you've got Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele against Rory McIlroy and Ian Poulter.
McIlroy and Poulter from the European side is fun being paired together, and then I'm curious from an American side. The first two give me the most interest: Spieth and Thomas, and Morikawa and Dustin Johnson.
Okay, so in the afternoon, four ball matches will take place. What does that mean?
That means they both play their own ball. All four play their own ball, and whichever the best score is for each side gets to play. Okay. You and I are teammates. I make a 5, you make a 4. We get a 4 on that hole as a team.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The next hole, I make a 3, you make a 6. We take my 3. That's our best score for the team. So the foursomes is much harder. Alternate shot, you're having to rely on your partner.
Somebody can go for it in the 4-ball.
Oh yeah, like if I'm safely on and I know I'm going to at least make par, you hammer away. I mean, I
just go for it.
Yes, that is very true. So.
All right.
It's always fun.
And then there will be the same format used for Saturday, and then 12 singles matches on Sunday for a total of 28 points.
Yes.
Europe has won 4 of the last 5 Ryder Cups as well as 5 of the last 7.
They have, yes.
It needs 14 points to retain the cup, while the Americans need 14.5 points to win it.
Yes. If you tie, you keep the cup.
Makes sense. If it's a draw in boxing, you keep the belt.
It's a very similar practice there.
I mean, I get it.
The U.S. always has better golfers from a world ranking standpoint, and Europe, frankly, has been winning.
So for someone like me, is this entertaining television? Do I know enough? Because I typically like this kind of thing.
Match play is fun because it's easy to understand. It's fairly fast. In 18 holes, there's going to be a winner and a loser. Match play makes it really good for the average common fan. Yeah, there's nothing confusion at all about match play.
So will I enjoy 4-ball or the foursome?
If you want a bunch of birdies and fireworks, you want 4-ball. If you want a little more chaos, you want foursomes.
Okay.
I prefer foursomes because there's so much more pressure.
Explain foursomes to me again.
It's just alternate shot. I hit the drive, you hit the next shot. You hit the we just alternate until the ball goes in the hole. So, I mean, you could have one player sometimes. I mean, let's say you would never pair DeChambeau and Koepka together in foursomes because they'll be ready to kill each other. Hey, if Koepka hits the ball off in the crowd, then DeChambeau's got to go over there, find it, and hit it.
Gotcha.
And that's not a good dynamic.
But you could pair them on the other because they...
Oh, it's far away. They both play against one another almost and see if they can go beat the other team.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, I would put them together at 4-ball. It makes tons of sense to me is to stick them out there and go, hey, have at it. Go kill one another. Go birdie every hole. See what it looks like.
So this is in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. What's the weather there?
It's a little chilly. It's like in the 40s maybe tomorrow morning, something like that. Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay. All right. I'll give it a shot tomorrow.
Will you? Okay.
Yeah. No. I mean, I like Ryder Cup. The idea of it. I just I don't know the people, but I recognized a lot of those names.
It's a neat event. It's good. U.S. needs to win. They blew Medina in 12. 2 times ago it was in the U.S. They won in 16 when it was in the U.S. They got absolutely popped in France in 18.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, did not go well.
And this is the last one since then.
That's
first
correct.
one since
then. Because it's supposed to be in
say.
20, and it got delayed for a year.
Gotcha.
So that is correct. It's fun. Who else thinks Otis Reese is like a bigger Mike Hilton?
There's some similarities.
Yeah, but I mean, Mike's a hell of a football player.
Yeah.
Mike at Otis's size would almost have to be rolled out in a cage a little bit. Like that would have been. He's an All-American without even a question at that point. But yeah, I mean, look, they play positions well.
Alan likes your hat.
Appreciate Tulane Sports Properties for the cap. Had to kind of wait through the weekend to do that.
Yeah,
but,
you couldn't have done that last week.
Yeah, I told Banks, I said, look, as long as like the game goes as I think, like, yeah, I'll be fine wearing it next week. I was like, if Tulane wins by some state, like that bitch is gone for like months. We'll have to let some time play off, but it's all good.
I mean, you still haven't been able to wear your Tennessee Tech baseball hat. It's a nice hat too.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Braga presented it to me personally that week. I mean, it was one of those deals. Thought it would be.
He said that thing you wrote really motivated their team.
Oh, Lord. The funny part of the Ryder Cup is that everybody gets all into it. It's a huge deal. Frankly, I like the Ryder Cup better than the Masters from a straight just golf fun standpoint over the course of 3 days.
The Masters can get a little stuffy.
Well, the Masters is so good because it's in April. It's the spring renewal thing. You know what I mean? Like, if the Masters can be exactly the same with nothing else changes, but if that thing's in July, it doesn't have the same appeal at all. It's completely different.
Panthers and Texans going to get started in a little bit. Where's this game? Houston? Yeah, it's in Houston. Because every time they show the overhead shots of Houston, they show the Astrodome.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of childhood memories of the Astrodome.
Oh, yeah.
We used to go there on field trips. Thanks to the regulator. He says, enjoy all the podcasts. Ran into a friend of the show, Hogan Gidley, in D.C. this past Sunday, representing the flagship proudly. Yep, Hogan's a good friend of both of ours.
actually need to write him back. He wrote me about something today, and I have not responded because I don't have an answer yet. So I need to find an answer and then reply.
Is he heading to town anytime soon?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
We were kind of discussing off of was him coming to town this fall. Neal's well aware of the Cardinals winning 12 straight. I mean, he was bragging about it when I walked in the room tonight.
Is it up to 12?
I mean, yeah, today.
Wow. That'll be great when the Dodgers beat him in that wild card.
Yeah, well, November, the November Masters for a lot of reasons was bad, but it wasn't necessarily what I'm saying, even though that does play into it as well. That was a clunky Masters to where you almost don't even give Dustin Johnson credit for it. You do, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You do, but
it wasn't the Masters.
No,
it was like spring football. Does anyone remember the spring football season? I mean, seriously? Do you even remember a thing about it?
Not really, no.
That's my point. The Masters in November is not the Masters in April. It's just totally different. I mean, I'm all for it, but it's totally different.
Mark says the Masters is a golf tournament. The Ryder Cup's an event. It's fair.
Okay.
Now, the Masters is the closest thing to an event that there is in regular golf outside of the Ryder Cup. And then nobody even acts like the President's Cup exists.
Jeffrey Parrott says, sad day in hometown of Collierville today. I talked to my friend Robert, or texted a little bit back and forth in Collierville. It is a sad day. That was a terrible thing. A mass shooting at a Kroger. One patron was killed. The shooter, I think, killed himself.
Is that how it ended? Okay.
I think 13 people wounded. There were some rumors of more deaths than that, but knock on wood, I think it was just the one. I say just the one.
Yeah.
One.
Right.
All right, I'm going to say this. We're going to open the phone lines early because we've done podcasts all week. I did a huge recruiting podcast with Zach today.
Before we get to it, what do you think about the show?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's do that quickly.
All right. Yeah, hang tight on this. We'll talk about impeachment.
Yeah, just hang in. We'll take the calls.
I'm super entertained.
Okay, are you all three?
I'm through three.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
I have found it to be, based on how much of the story that I know, I've found it to be pretty accurate.
Yeah, that's where I grade it.
If they have Hollywooded it, it's been a minimal amount. Maybe the amount that's required to condense some things.
Yeah, they've skipped a few things, but I'm fine. Nothing that makes me throw the story off. Initially,
I did not like the Clinton character, but my brain has been able to work past that, and I'm okay with him now.
It's because he doesn't look right. That's the only, from a physical standpoint, that the casting is really badly off, and it gets better by episode 3. You're right. For some reason in your mind, you kind of let it be whatever. But
I think so. I think you accept it.
But early on, he looks just too different that I can't quite.
Okay, can I be real here? And people are going to get mad. Monica Lewinsky wasn't as chunky as this girl.
No.
And I've had a real hard time with.
Yeah.
If I'm just keeping it real.
Well, the script is not written for her to be as heavy as she is in the show.
I don't think Bill Clinton would have done all of this with that girl.
Fair. I mean,
I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I mean, but I've let myself kind of work past that too. So the Linda Tripp character is the one that's most fascinating to me. And in the story, she is the one who is the most fascinating.
It's a wonderful character.
And the actress portraying her
has
done a brilliant job. Because Linda Tripp, that character has made you hate her, understand it, kind of get it, go back to hating her.
Yeah.
But you kind of see how it happened.
Well, she was bitter.
Yes.
Pissed.
She was lonely, looking
for any type of notoriety. I mean,
yeah. And so when Michael Isikoff drops by to see her, and look, there's no spoilers here. This story's been out a while.
Yeah. This is like not going, hey, the Titanic. I mean,
yeah.
it's
in the end, the ship sunk. When Isikoff drops by to see her, you can see how her character goes, this is more than I can take.
You and I have both ingested the Slow Burn podcast on Clinton, have read God knows how much on this. Like I said, I'm embarrassed how much I've taken in. What did you think? Because they didn't come out right and say it, but in the show, Linda Tripp, they play it like so much motivation is because of Vince Foster as well.
Right.
In real life, I know it's a part, but I felt like that felt more played up in the show than I thought that played into real life, that she was bitter and after the Clintons because of Vince Foster's suicide.
In fact, I had to go dig a little bit on that after that. I was like that. I don't remember that being the great motivating factor
Not
that
for
it
her.
was. Not for
Right.
her.
Yeah.
Now it was.
It's a huge deal in the overall plot.
Yes, it was a thing, and I think she respected Foster and liked Foster. And when he died, I think she was suspicious that it was not a suicide. But I didn't think that. I think it was more a desire for her own personal fame than it was anything else.
To be important.
Yeah, to matter. Here she is.
And she manipulated Monica.
She did. But the one thing that I keep coming back to is how many people in the White House knew, enabled, covered, hid, obstructed, knowing that girl going into that office.
Come on.
Yeah, come the F on.
The secretary having to knock on the door of even the private study out, inside the Oval.
Yeah, she knew.
Yeah.
And so when those
she was
people,
facilitating.
Yes, when those people came back later with I didn't know, that's disingenuous. Kyle Wilson says, with Joe Biden in office, no worries, this will ever happen in the next 2 years. Well, that's probably true. But I don't know. You do feel for Monica Lewinsky. I do, at least.
Always have. Yeah.
Always have.
Yeah.
I can see how
her life was completely and utterly ruined. But no matter what you think about it, and even the people go, hey, she was an adult, and okay, fine. But
to her credit, she never shied from that.
No.
She always said it was consensual. When people tried to say, hey, this was
an
assault, she said no.
She'll go as far as saying, obviously, there's a power dynamic difference. But no, there was never any type of...
She was never coerced into any sort of physical interaction ever. And she's never claimed to be.
No. But she's dealt with PTSD. I mean, it's the biggest, one of the top 5 scandals of the last 25 years. I mean,
here's what else is surprising to me, and I've read about this to find out this is pretty accurate.
Yeah.
She followed him around. And so people noticed because the Secret Service is paid to notice.
Yeah.
I mean, on the list of people that knew and couldn't do anything, you almost wonder, like, the Secret Service was like, what is this? They talked about it.
Yeah. She's obviously not pulling out a weapon, but what's going on?
It was Kennedy-esque, where you are forced to cover up and to hide. And then he gets her out of the White House.
Send her to the Pentagon.
For the election. And yet makes her these promises, and she naively believes them. And she shows up at the White House with this basket of gifts.
She kept giving him gifts.
Yeah.
It's true that he did give her Leaves of Grass. That's his favorite book. That's something he gave Monica.
Yeah.
Frankly, I think he gave Hillary the same book when they were in college because that was one of the big storylines back in the day. Yeah. It was like his thing.
The crazy thing, and they haven't done this in the show yet, he invites her parents to the White House for a radio address, and they pose for these pictures.
Yeah. I mean, the hubris is extreme here.
Because I honestly believe, based on things that I've read, and this series sort of hints at it, I think he actually had feelings for her. He was jealous of the idea of her going out.
Yeah. He was very lonely.
He was, yeah. I mean, the marriage is a miserable marriage.
Yeah.
I think we all know that now. It was a business relationship.
what's interesting about the show for anybody who hasn't caught up at all from the, because look, we've heard this story 1,000 times. There's been documentaries, books, podcasts, all sorts of things. I mean, what makes this different is they're trying to put it to where for years in some segments. Now the slow burn thing didn't, because slow burn was the best thing they have done with this story since it came out. But so many news portrayals made it where, Clinton did this, and all of the active voice was on the men. And this show is trying to say, no, the women were very active in this, from a Linda Tripp to a Monica to Ann Coulter, to Hillary when we get to her, and all these different things. That no, the women were sort of the engine here, if you will, that made this work from all the different categories. So that's what it's trying to do.
I do want to see how they portray Hillary.
I do too. And there's a fine line, though, because I know what they're trying to pull off, and I agree with them. Because, Linda Tripp is the A1 in this whole story. She's the center of the Lewinsky scandal. You're trying to make the women look forceful and powerful and not dramatic and petty. Mm-hmm. And it's a fine freaking line there on...
Because they were both.
Yeah.
They were forceful, powerful, dramatic,
it's a
and petty.
Character. Yeah.
So, do you think an American president survives this today?
No shot in hell.
He has to step down within 4 months, right?
No shot in hell. No.
Done.
Shot. Me Too movement, just the way media is, period. The dude survived the fact that he was doing this in the Oval Office during a shutdown.
Yeah.
The headlines write themselves in 1,000 ways. You've got, the Drudge Report breaks. There's so many things here to where...
the Drudge thing reminded me that was the beginning of the change in media. Mm-hmm. That was the first people pushed back in the media against Drudge, who was like, hey, I'm not held to your standards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he goes, internet gossip.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Screw you as a
Believe
cop.
it or don't.
Yeah. And it was a different day when Newsweek magazine, you were going in an airport, you grabbed the Newsweek and read it in the plane cover to cover.
It's been fun watching it just because it's almost kind of like what Stranger Things does for the 80s a little bit. It transforms us back into the 90s. All the little just nuanced things of the 90s is kind of fun and interesting and whatnot, from a fact that everybody doesn't even have cell phones. You're having to find phones to call people. Linda Tripp's answering like the old-timey, like whatever.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat from just a step back. Monica's buying magazines at newsstands and things. Along those lines, today is just not even most magazine subscriptions now go to your iPad or your tablet or whatever, and you just do it right there on the device.
Yeah.
I think Monica being a producer has been a huge benefit to it. It's giving it more realism. Has to be
cathartic to her to get the story out from her perspective.
If you care about this story, I know a lot of people don't. She did a profile in maybe the New York Times, maybe the New Yorker. I forget which one. And it was based off the day of the premiere. And she said that she couldn't go to the actual premiere because she said there's too much PTSD. She does not need to see that again. She doesn't watch the final products. But she went to a dinner, a reception afterwards, and she's been very good on, no, this is what happened. Make sure, frankly, don't pull punches on me. No, that's where we're at here. This is the way it went.
They stayed away from sex scenes.
That's correct, yes. Yeah. They show her flashing her underwear, and that's the closest, I think, to anything along those lines. And it was her that put that in. They said, well, whatever. And she goes, no, that's a key part of almost. Hey, Monica, I'm coming on to him too. Yeah, this is not just a
well, if anything, she kind of threw the first shot.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
So it's real, and it's as real as any TV is going to be. Let's put it that way. Is it all 100% true? Whatever. No, there's definitely things I've picked out that have been skipped or moved around. I was a little surprised they gave us the scene in the first episode showing Vince Foster killing himself.
Yeah.
Just because that's such a conspiracy on murder versus... It'd have been really easy to go, oh, he killed himself, and not actually show that scene.
Do you think Foster killed himself? The history gods come down and they know the truth. Did Vince Foster kill himself?
Yes, but he was going to be killed if he didn't. I think he knew that
He was a marked man.
Yes. I do think he actually shot himself, but I believe that had he not right there, that it was only a matter of time. I think that's what I believe.
I can buy that.
You buy that?
Yeah, I can buy that. Now, if you told me that he was escorted out to the park out there and told, do it.
Oh.
I'd buy that too.
Okay, I'll sure.
I do think there was a relationship that had to be hidden.
Yeah. I don't know what look at the last thing here. I know what I don't know what I think about Paula Jones' character. I'm struggling. I feel like she's the worst character so far.
From the way it's been portrayed?
Yeah,
Well, they've bought into the stereotype so hard. They just steered into it. Although that was a lot of her. And I don't know what I think about like her husband. He drives me insane.
From a character standpoint?
Yeah, I kind of want to go through the TV and go, please go away.
Yeah. Can we get on with it?
Yeah. Marshall with the big play against App State. 12:36 to go in the second quarter. It was a nice throw and catch.
Pretty clean unis there from
yeah, I like Marshall's.
From Marshall.
I like Marshall's white on white with the white helmet.
I did not follow the other case that just is still going on closely. I mean, I know the Cliff Notes. I think it's very possible he's gone somewhere and killed himself. I don't know that he has, but that would not shock me at all.
I mean, his result. Two choices at this point are spend life in prison or with the trial and all that, or just off himself.
Because you're not innocent when you drive back for however long that was.
And they find her body in Wyoming. Come on.
Yeah. So many missed opportunities to save that woman.
Yeah.
Cops pulling them over. I mean, many opportunities to notice some flashing red warning signs there.
Ben Summerford says, Neal, hearing from a friend in South Florida, talk going around that there is if Manny Diaz loses to Virginia next Friday night, he'll be fired before the weekend is out. I've not heard that. I have heard that Diaz is in trouble, that they would like to make a splashy hire at Miami. Chase and I talked about this earlier in the week. I don't know what the Miami job is today. I know what it was 20 years ago. I don't know what it is today. Do they have the money? They're in the ACC. It's a bad league. I don't know.
That's where I was going to go with this. Look, your goal in any major conference is to win the league, because if you win the league, you get into the playoff, and then you just got to win 2 games, or how many ever games ends up being in a playoff. Is Miami the job it once was? No. They have money, but they don't spend it on facilities. Their stadium is a dump, not on campus.
Hey, Chase, this is David from Montgomery.
Hey, David, hang tight real quick, okay?
Oh, yes, sir, we'll do.
I got thrown off.
You're okay.
Yeah. But my point being, though, even in a worst-case scenario, from an ACC standpoint, can you make the argument that Miami is any worse than the third best job in the conference?
Behind
That's the
Clemson
problem.
and Carolina?
Well, in Carolina, you sure?
No.
Carolina's not spending tons of money on recruits.
No.
I'm just saying, out of a pile of Virginia Tech, Miami, Carolina, whatever, maybe you throw one in front of them, but otherwise, it's a better job than BC always. Duke always. It's a better job than Florida State. It's a better job than Georgia Tech. It's a better job than Louisville. It's a better job than NC State. It's a better job than Pitt. It's a better job than Syracuse. It's a better job than Virginia. It's a better job than Wake Forest. And the only one of those where we can debate is Florida State. You could argue Florida State's a better job than Miami.
You could. I'm not sure.
I think Miami's a better job.
I do too.
Either way.
Hey, David, what's up?
Hey, Neal. I'm an Alabama fan, and I'm just a little nervous about Lane Kiffin's high-powered offense. Do you think Saban can cover him? I was just a little anxious because, it was a little shaky against Florida. I'll hang up and listen.
Okay.
I appreciate how you got right to it right there. That was impressive. That was not your first rodeo on a call-in show right there. You called "Hey Coach" a lot, hadn't you? Go ahead and admit it. You called "Hey Coach."
He didn't even ask, "How are you?"
No, I mean, it's weird. Hey, High-powered offense, Lane Kiffin, go. I'll hang up and listen. Peace.
Yeah, look, I mean, they scored a bunch of points last year. I think the question comes back to the same thing it always comes back to, which is, can Ole Miss stop Alabama? Can they get them off the field? Can they keep getting the ball? And I don't know the answer to that.
To me, that's the side that's going to win or lose this game. I feel like the other side is fairly set on what's going on. I mean, it can differ by 10 points in either direction, but I don't see some total domination by the Alabama defense. I think Ole Miss is going to score some points. Now, look, Ole Miss, here is the key from an Ole Miss offense standpoint. It's not what he's talking about. Look, Corral's going to get his. They're going to complete passes. They're going to throw the football. Is if they don't score from far and they get inside the 5, how they scoring? Is the offensive line good enough to get the push? Are they going to get a lot of middle drive there on the goal line? Do they have to settle for 3, or do they miss out on a 4th and goal from the 2? I mean, to me, the swing plays are Ole Miss's offense inside the 10 or the 5. Do they maximize those, or do they end up with empty points that are going to bite them at the end of this game?
Well, and can they do to Alabama's offense what Florida did? And I don't know that they can. I don't know that they can't. But Florida disrupted them offensively.
They did.
After the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. Can Ole Miss do that? I don't know. Can Ole Miss get Alabama behind the chains?
Feels like they're going to have to get off the field on a lot of 3rd and 4s.
You know, can they afford to let Campbell be the spy on Bryce Young? I don't know.
Which takes him out of.
Can they play 6 DBs? Are they forced to bring in another linebacker, another defensive lineman?
Yeah, do you have to play a 4-front?
Yeah. And when that happens, does the defensive backfield get exposed? I don't know. On the flip side, can Alabama get Corral off the field? And if it becomes a scoring fest, can Bryce Young do what Mac Jones and company did a year ago? I don't know. It's a fascinating game. There's a lot of, like you said the other day, and I agree with you, by the way. If the football gods came in here right now and told us, hey, Alabama wins by 14 points, okay. Am I surprised? No, not really. But here's the crazy part. If you told me, hey, if they also told me Ole Miss wins by 14 points, I'm surprised, but I'm not just stunned. It's not like, oh, my God.
Mm-hmm.
The way if you told me, hey, next year the Pittsburgh Pirates win the World Series, I'm like, oh, my God. Like, how? I wouldn't be saying that about Ole Miss beating Alabama. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. Florida and Ole Miss just have such different DNAs to where there are things you can take from it, but they're hardly the same in any area where I go, hey, look exactly where they exploited, or look where they didn't exploit it, and then that carries. I mean,
my guess is Florida's significantly better than Ole Miss on defense, and Ole Miss is significantly better than Florida on offense. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, boys, how y'all doing?
What's up, Bubba?
Oh, same old thing. Sitting here with the dogs. They just got in from work. So
you got 3 and 8 there?
Pardon?
You got 3 and 8 there with you?
I got 3, 8, Miller, and Chase.
Yeah.
So, yep. And they've all got roundworms, too.
Oh, no.
Puppy gave it. Yep.
Bad week.
So it's not been good. 3's it's hurting him. He's so old.
You giving him some ivermectin, or what are you doing?
Yep, that's exactly what I gave him.
So there you go.
Bought a bunch of it, and these boys are just kind of, it's a worm city around here, but it is what it is. Anyway, just want to give you boys a call and got a quick question, because I'm hearing from my son-in-law down in Sulligent that they're basically coming in, and sorry, I'm a little sick, that Alabama's going to beat us by 3 touchdowns, and I told him he's crazy. So I know you boys have talked about that and getting in, but I don't know. I talked to Daddy, and he thinks that Ole Miss can win. So that's one question. The other one is, you boys think that Eddie O's going to be gone probably after he loses to us, or what do you boys think? And I'll let y'all go, and y'all have a nice night. Hope y'all are doing all right.
Thanks, Bubba.
Bye.
Appreciate you. I don't think Alabama wins by 3 touchdowns.
You're pretty comfortable with the 17 if you were given that.
Yeah, I'd take the points and feel really good about it.
I think it came down to 16 at some point today.
Yeah, and I bet it comes down further this week.
I still won't be stunned if Vegas on some of those books throws it a little lower.
Carolina in the end zone. Sam Darnold with the touchdown run. 6-0. Panthers with PAT pending. Orgeron. Does he make it to Oxford?
Yeah, because they're going to win this
Can I
weekend.
get till 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon?
Well, I mean, amen. But,
Do they win Saturday or not?
it just takes a complete and utter meltdown. I mean,
a loss at Mississippi State and a home loss to Auburn, that's not exactly the most difficult calculus to put together.
I don't think that gets him fired in by itself. I think they would have to lose in Lexington the next week to get fired. Mid-season right there.
Mid-season, yeah.
I think you'd have to lose again. Now, look, could you go on an easy path to get fired at the end of the year? Oh, hell yeah. That's not even a questionable.
I think a loss Saturday, and he's fired at the end of the year.
Do you really?
I do.
Because of what comes. And
Yeah, I mean, what you can lose the start.
Because they seriously could lose all 6 of these on the page I'm looking at. I mean,
Yeah.
they could be 2-7 when they leave Tuscaloosa on November 6th.
So on a scale of, let's do it. So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1, there's no chance in hell they lose it, and 10, oh, that's a loss.
Okay.
Mississippi State's a 5.
Right in the middle.
Okay. What's the next one?
Auburn. I know Grind does the whole 1999 thing.
At least a 6.
It's a 6.5 is what
Okay.
I'm going.
Fair enough.
At Kentucky.
It's a 6.
It's a 4.5 to a 6. I don't
Okay.
know.
Fair enough.
Florida at LSU. It's a 8.
7, but okay.
Sure. Ole Miss.
It's a 7 or an 8.
It's whatever Florida is. They're even.
Yeah.
And then they go to Tuscaloosa. It's a 12.
Yeah, it's at least a 9.
Yeah.
And then Arkansas's a 5.
That's back in Baton Rouge, but yeah.
But yeah.
But at that point, Baton Rouge might as well be.
I mean, at that point, Baton Rouge could be
Yeah.
Beirut from
Yeah.
a home field standpoint.
And then La Monroe before they play
That's
A&M.
yeah, they're winning that. And then A&M.
Yeah, absolute worst case scenario. I mean, are they going to do this? No, because that's too many coin flips, and you win some coin flips. There's a path to 3-9.
You know, Mark makes a great point here. He says, remember Ed Orgeron after Alabama in 2019? When he did the profane thing in the locker room?
Yeah.
That was dumb.
It was really stupid.
It really was. Hey, who do we have?
Hello?
Hey, who's this? Hey, turn your device down. Who do we have?
Hey guys, it's Lone Star Rebel from the board.
Hey, Lone Star.
My first question is, how you boys doing tonight?
We're
Lovely.
great. We're awesome.
Hey, the State LSU game, that's an 11 a.m. kick.
It is. Yep, ESPN, 11 a.m. Central Time.
How many 11 a.m. kicks has LSU had in the past few years? It's not many.
Not
Very
many,
few.
and they have fared poorly in them. Meanwhile, and someone I can't remember the numbers, but don't hold me to this. Actually, State has done fairly well with 11 a.m. games.
Wonder why.
Used to it.
And then we're against Bama at 2:30 next week. How many times has Bama not been the 2:30?
Like twice. No, I'm kidding. No.
I mean, a pretty good day.
some. Yeah, they've played.
They have a lot of 6:30, 6s, and then occasionally they play an 11.
Yeah, but they play a lot of 2:30s. They're familiar with that time slot.
Yeah, they have a plan for that one.
Yeah.
Neal, big fan of the what he said, what he meant. I think that's one of the best products that you guys put out, other than the podcast.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
It always cracks me up.
I appreciate that. I thought of it.
All right.
I thought of it in the
Good
middle of the night. So, thanks. What?
Ben says they hate your steakhouse, Lone Star. That was Longhorn we were bashing this morning. Not.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Mark, is Tennessee going to cover the 20 against Florida? Oh, no.
You're asking Mark? Come on. They're not going to cover the 80.
Curious. Lord. Houston's really bad, right?
Yeah, they're bad. Hey, who's this?
Hey guys, it's Jarrett.
Hey, Jarrett, what's up?
Oh, just sitting here watching Hocus Pocus with a 2-year-old in my lap.
Quality film there.
Was it earlier this year? I remember you guys talked about it, how it's super overrated. For some reason, every woman my age, and I'm 36, thinks this movie is just amazing, and I don't understand why. It's not good at all.
I don't know that I've seen it.
You don't think it's a decent kids movie?
I mean, yeah, I guess it's fine for kids, 2 to 7, but why would you, my ex-wife watched it a million times every Halloween and was like, oh my God, it's so wonderful. And I was like, no, it's terrible and hokey and dumb. But Stella likes it.
That's all that matters.
Stella,
right now.
can you say? No? Okay.
No.
We're really...
Yeah, she's...
Yeah, she didn't want to talk to you guys.
Yeah, I get
but
it.
We're really into Halloween. We watch Nightmare Before Christmas probably 3 times a day. And this, because Disney Plus suggests it right after it. But it keeps her somewhat quiet, so, it's fine with me. So here's something that's kind of weird. Tell me your thoughts on why this might be occurring. So Air Force last week was an 8-point favorite at home against Utah State, but the FPI had it as a pick'em, and Air Force ended up losing. They fumbled. There was 1,200 yards of total offense, and they fumbled as they were going in to score the go-ahead score at the end of the game. And now this week, they're playing FAU at home, and they're a 5.5 to 6-point favorite, but SPI has a 73% chance FAU is going to win.
Still early in the year, so some of those analytics are not going to be exactly whatever. And also, while it plays out, yeah, absolutely.
What's that, Chase?
While it also plays out, if we talk about how good Vegas is trying to get equal money on both sides. So especially with smaller teams or at least non-Power 5 teams, you're going to have some discrepancy on what public perception is versus necessarily how good they are as a program. And I think that manipulates lines off of analytics a little bit or even the final score, because in a perfect world, Vegas would just 50% on both teams and to collect the juice.
Yeah. It was more not necessarily that they thought that how much they would win by, but that they would win at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just thought it was really weird. But yeah, it was a heartbreaker last week, man. It was. So will there be any kind? Are you guys going to do any kind of show this weekend, or take a night off?
No,
Saturday?
we're going to take a night off because I'm going to be in Jackson for Tupelo Football Club soccer, and we're going to take a break because we've got 9 games in less than 9 weeks. Bang, 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 bang. After this, so we'll catch our breath while we can.
I hear you. Let me ask you this: how do you and Carson feel about Greek/Mediterranean food?
I don't know that he has any opinion on it. I'm cool with it. There's a Greek place here that he's not exactly a fan of, and frankly, I'm not either. The girls in our family are, but neither of us really are crazy about it.
Yeah, I would highly recommend Kiefer's on Fortification Street in Jackson.
Okay.
And you got to get the feta dressing instead of the tzatziki on your gyro.
Okay.
It's out of this world. It's really good.
I'll remember that. Thanks, Jarrett.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Bye,
Have
Stella.
a good night. All right.
Avery's got the pumpkin candle right now. It's burning.
I can't make fun of much. I have a sweatshirt on.
You do have a sweatshirt. I walked outside a little while ago, and it wasn't quite as cool as I thought it was going to be.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was today. Was just perfectly.
It was
nice.
awesome.
Yeah, today was just great. There was no necessarily hint. There was no anything. It was just good.
I did yard work today, and it was very pleasant.
No big deal. Yeah.
No, it's nice. Got it done today, so I wouldn't have to do it tomorrow. Oh. So App State had come back and scored. I guess he took the kickoff to the house.
Just to the
Marshall?
house. So.
Yeah.
App State 2-1 with their one loss, a very tough one against.
One they wish they had back against Miami
because they should have won the game.
Yeah, and that would be the end of Diaz.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Hey, who do we have?
Hey guys, it's Bob and Reb.
Hey, Bobbin.
So I'm going to mix things up a little bit. I actually need some advice from you guys.
Okay, that's what we're here for.
Okay, so I've been seeing this girl for about a month and a half now, going very well, very pretty girl, nice, sweet, funny, all that jazz.
Okay.
Something problematic's come up though. So she graduated from Alabama, and I graduated from Ole Miss, and early as like 2 weeks ago, she was like, "We should watch the game together."
No, you shouldn't.
Thank you, Neal. That's exactly what I've been thinking. But she's like, "Oh, it won't be that bad." I was like, "Yeah."
No, you shouldn't. Because here's the deal. Here's the deal. Can I be real with you?
Yeah.
If Alabama were to win by 21, you're a little pissed, but you're okay. If Ole Miss wins by 14, you're super geeked up.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. And
you think this causes a problem?
And she loses her mind. Yeah. And it's the end.
Well, I watched the Florida game with her Saturday, and I could tell she was just kind of like irked that the game.
So it's a real thing. It's not, oh, I'm a fan.
But hold up. Vibin, when that game was going on, did you catch yourself having to repress the "Let's Go Gators"?
A little bit, a little bit.
Because they're hard to love, Alabama. And
they are. I can respect them.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna.
Well, you respect Walmart and all the money they made, but do you ever walk into Walmart and go, "Oh my God, this is great"? Because Alabama's Walmart.
Nobody cheers for Amazon.
No, nobody goes, "Oh, you know what? I'm really glad the people at Amazon are doing well."
They're the billion-dollar corporation that just runs everything.
And so my advice to you is to say, "Hey, look, let's go do something Friday night. Let's spend Saturday apart. Let's sleep a night on it. Go have a girls' night. I'll hang out at home. When she texts you or whatever, make sure she knows you're not out with the boys or whatever. You're home."
And the game's at 2:30 though.
Yeah, I'd leave it alone. And then on Sunday you can.
But I'm gonna be drunk either way. That's the problem.
That's okay, but be home. Don't let her have any suspicion that you're out, with another girl or out someplace where there are other girls. Just stay home, order a pizza, do a FaceTime, whatever, and let it be. And then on Sunday you can resume the relationship. You don't even think
you can have the night after the game?
No, I do not.
She's not one to taunt you after the Bama win, right?
I mean, probably not.
Is she gonna Is she gonna talk crap?
She would. Hold up, Chase. Let me interject.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think she'd do that a lot, but I've already gotten some jabs from her before to where we were just talking about college football, and she was like, she would complain about, when they lost to Clemson in the national championship game. And I was like, "Oh, yeah, you've had it very rough." And she was like, "Well, we can't all be winners." And I was like, "Ooh.
That's them. No, that's them. That's them. I'm just telling you, you want advice, and I'm going to give it to you. I lived in that state for a decade. You don't need to see her Saturday.
Go to brunch Sunday morning.
Okay. If you just have to see her on Saturday.
No, Sunday.
Sunday, yes. Sunday morning's fine because everyone will have slept on it. It'll be okay. But heat of the moment, it's going to cause problems. Stay home so that there's no issue with, you just didn't want to be with me because you wanted to go out with the guys and you wanted to go see that girl. No. Just stay home. Where if she calls you or whatever, FaceTimes you, you're at home, sitting in your living room watching Florida, Tennessee finish up, okay? But stay away. Yeah. Just order a pizza and just if Ole Miss wins, celebrate on your own with your Ole Miss friends. And if Ole Miss loses, you can get over it. And the next day, life carries on. you can say, hey, Alabama sure is good, and then swallow the bile and move on.
Yeah, that's what I that was the way I was leaning towards, but when you put it like that, yeah, for sure. Also, one more thing, kind of a not Kiffin leaving question, but I was thinking about it the other day. Say Ole Miss goes 9-3 or better this year.
Okay.
I would assume they'd want to give him a pretty sizable pay raise. Do you guys think they could go up to $6 million a year?
Yes.
If you're at 5'2",
Really?
you can get to 6.
Yes. I don't think it'll come down to money. I really don't. I mean, look, if you told me that Lane Kiffin left because down the road he wanted to go someplace where there was water. I mean, I've told Chase this. The one thing Ole Miss can never give Lane Kiffin is a body of water in Oxford.
We'd have to do some reworking of Lake Sardis, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah. And so, you know, when people say, is Miami a threat? I mean, existentially, sure. I mean, they have the Atlantic Ocean and Key Biscayne or whatever it's called. I mean, you know, they've got stuff that Ole Miss can't offer. But you're in the SEC. I don't know. It's one of these things Chase and I have talked about a lot because we have to think about what would we do if. I think it's not worth worrying about because if it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah, because honestly, I think I did post on the message board a couple of days ago. From an embracing coach standpoint, it feels like he's almost been universally embraced since day one as far as support from fans, the university. Like, I mean, I think during COVID there was kind of that awkward getting to know each other period.
Sure.
But, I mean, I think that's past now. And, you know, they market him so well because he's so easy to market with, like, social media and stuff.
And vibing, they have some recruiting momentum finally. I mean, it's there. He talked about it the other day on Wednesday. I mean, I try to have a little fun with that what he said, what he meant thing, but I also try to be serious. And he was using that as a platform to recruit because there were a few things that he said that if you take a step back and you look at it, you're like, that's interesting. That's kind of what he was trying to say. You can tell for the very first time he feels like, yeah, I'm making headway. So does he want to start over at a Miami? I don't know. I mean, I can't tell you that, but I can tell you that he's making real strides at Ole Miss, and he knows it. So, and at the end of the day, I mean, he's the guy that makes the call. So all of the angst and all of that is, I get it, I really do, but at the same time, it's wasted energy.
Yeah, and to Ole Miss's credit, you know, I think the Ole Miss job has elevated so much in the past 10 years? I mean, that's credit to Hugh Freeze. He showed there's a path to get there. It's staying there.
He did.
You know, and that's the thing that, you know, Houston Nutt couldn't find. Hugh Freeze wasn't able to find it. But, I mean, it's going to be fascinating. I think this next 6-month period on the field and recruiting-wise is going to be just monumental.
Well, there's no question about it. I would give Hugh this. I'm not Hugh's biggest fan, and he's not mine, but he did not ever accept that little Ole Miss thing. He always thought he could recruit big, that you'd have to be selective to get started, and it worked. And if he would have just stayed the hell off Twitter, he'd have been fine. But Kiffin is smarter and more savvy than Hugh. And so, you know, once the success comes, and I do think it will come, once it comes, he's not going to be an idiot in some ways that Hugh was. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I mean it in a very kind of analytical way. It was just, there was some stuff that Hugh did that was just dumb and elementary mistakes that I don't think Kiffin will make.
Yeah, I don't think Lane's going to be obsessing over kids based off stars and tweeting for people to send stuff to the school compliance.
No.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all taking the call. Y'all take care.
All right, Vibin. Thanks.
Barring a collapse of some sort, Ole Miss soccer will move to 2-0 in the SEC. They're up 2-0 on LSU at the 87th minute right now, dominating the game. They lead in shots 19-4.
Wow. Wow.
Over LSU.
See, that's the part of soccer that if you don't watch a lot of soccer, you don't understand. When one team dominates possession, you just keep getting shots.
Mm-hmm. Eventually, some go in.
Yeah.
19-4 shots, 6-2 on corners. Goals from Mo O'Connor and Molly Martin for the Rebels today.
Oh, congratulations to Matt Mott and that program. That's good.
Yeah,
he's done a really good job. He's elevated Ole Miss soccer to, frankly, top 16 level.
Yeah,
which, don't yell at me, might be the ceiling.
Yeah, because there's very little in-state talent. It's getting better.
It is getting better.
It's still coming. Somebody asking for the score. Marshall 20, App State 14, with 4:22 to go in the first half.
Yeah, and Panthers up 7-0 over the Texans early in the second and driving. Hey, who do we have?
Hey, guys. Walt in Birmingham.
Hey, Walt. What's up?
Oh, not much. I want to start by just saying, I listened last week, and when Corey Clark called in to tell the story of his son telling the Scooby-Dooby-Dooby, I want bigger boobies joke to his entire baseball team, it really reminded me why I call into this show to make an impact on America's youth, obviously. But no, it really made me laugh thinking of, a 10 or 11 or 12-year-old or whatever age he is telling that to his team and being the funniest kid at baseball practice that day. Because that's really, I think Corola's always said, you're never funnier than when you were at like the lunch table whenever you were 10 years old, basically.
I love Corolla. Corola's a damn genius.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one bone I have to pick with one Mr. Nick McCready is I think one of your mailbag questions the other day was, which SEC coaches would be which characters in The Office. Yeah. And I know you said Leach would be Dwight. I mean, Leach would be Creed. Dwight would be Eli Drinkwitz. Drink is Dwight.
I wasn't offered the SEC East as an option. I had to do SEC West.
That makes sense. But I still think Leach is a better Creed than Dwight, but you do have to name somebody Dwight. He's the only one close, I guess. So
yeah, Leach is Creed. That's good. I get it. Had I had Drinkwitz as an option, he would have been Dwight, but I didn't have him as an option. He was not available. He was not on the menu. I couldn't order Drinkwitz.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I'm glad we got past it. Mullen would have been Andy if the East coaches, I think, were available as well.
That's pretty good.
That's a good one, yeah.
The early and Andy that's like trying to be friends with Michael and like all up in his business and everything. Yeah. But I think I'm starting after the two calls I've heard from Brad and Iuka. I'm starting to believe that his wife Whitney is in the deepest of sleeps. I really think somebody needs to do a house check.
She's in the deepest of oceans, I'm afraid.
Yeah. It's, we might have a psycho situation where he's just in there talking to himself, like as his wife, but I'm not sure. But
I would like to talk to Whitney, like badly.
Yeah,
I would really. The next time that we hear from Brad, I'm going to ask for Whitney.
Yeah. Get her on the sectional couch. Let's sit down and do a little round table.
Make sure a crick in the neck's the worst thing we got going on from the sectional.
For sure.
Yeah. So I also wanted to, give y'all your weekly reminder that Casey Kelly caught more touchdowns in college than Dawson Knox. I just wanted to make sure that was on the record after seeing Dawson catch another one for the Bills on Sunday.
Laramie Tunzel caught more touchdowns than Dawson Knox.
Yeah. Phil Longo really benefits from being followed up by Rich Rodriguez as far as how angry we should be at that guy. But, Rich Rod did him a favor, I think. But one thing, I kind of went down a rabbit hole the other day and was thinking about how, and I don't want to get into the whole Luke thing, but that's been done ad nauseum, but how options during, the 2017 coaching search were pretty bad all around. I mean, you look at a lot of the guys with the names that were thrown out, nobody has gone on to light the world on fire or get hired somewhere and do really well.
Well, in many ways, you dodged the biggest of bullets
Yeah,
because the
sure.
guy that Ross Bjork wanted at
Dave
one
Doran.
point wanted the job, and then
Yeah.
I think he got pushed out of it because a bigger job, at least at the time, was coming open. There was a moment there where I think there was mutual interest between Ole Miss and Willie Taggart.
Yeah.
That would not have fared well.
That would have been awful, obviously. And then I think if Dave Doran gets hired, but NC State keeps Drinkwitz to stay and be their coach, then I think that ends up being, not the greatest situation either, because it's pretty clear that, Doran's a okay coach. But
I will not to interrupt you, but I will tell you that I believe, and I'm pretty sourced on this.
Drink was coming with him.
I think that entire staff was coming with him.
Yeah.
I don't.
It ended up working.
Let me go stronger.
But
that entire staff was coming with him.
Yeah. Okay.
NC State and Doran were not on the best of terms at that point, and
right.
Drinkwitz would have been Ole Miss's offensive coordinator.
Right. At least for a year.
Yeah. For the 20.
He was there one more year, went to App State.
Yeah, for sure. That could have easily happened, but he was coming with him, and yeah.
Yeah. So that led me to look back at the, 04 search after Cut was fired, and obviously Ed gets hired. But, the other name we always hear about is they went out and met with Dennis Erickson. And I started looking through a lot of stuff, started looking through, Lane's past jobs and notable games and stuff. And funny enough, in 2011 was Lane's best season at USC. They went 10-2, but they had a postseason ban, and they hadn't really felt the burn of the scholarship reductions like they were going to the next year. That was the season. I don't know if y'all remember, he upset like number 3 Oregon in November, and then had the interview after the game about, Nick, Saban really likes me right now, because that's what enabled Alabama, after losing to LSU that year, to get into the national title game, basically.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the 2 losses that USC had that year was one earlier in November. They lost to like number 4 Stanford when David Shaw still had them kind of rolling. And but the other one was in September. It's 10 years tomorrow, September 24, 2011. Lane lost to Arizona State and Dennis Erickson in Dennis Erickson's last year, the year he got fired, which I thought was a pretty, it's not a coincidence or anything, but just it's crazy how things happen, because obviously it's well documented how terrible of a hire Ed was, but Dennis Erickson wasn't going to come in and light anything on fire either. So I don't know. It's just strange how things work out.
Well, that's for sure. And what, the list of guys that were interested in the Ole Miss job in 04, they fire him in 04?
They did, after 04.
Yeah, the list of guys that were interested in that job is a long list. Jimbo Fisher, Gene Chizik.
Right. Bobby Petrino.
Petrino really wanted the job. And there were people that wanted to hire Petrino and were behind the scenes getting progress done in that regard. But it's I'm always amazed at Kayak getting the total free pass.
Yeah, I agree.
That was an egregious hire. It was one of the worst coaching searches in the history of coaching searches, and the people who conducted it should be ashamed of it. It was awful.
Yeah, it was malpractice.
It was. That's the best word. It was malpractice. Yes.
Yeah. So I also did want to mention that, and I haven't seen anybody post about it here in a couple of weeks, but some people were beating up on Brian a little bit. I don't know why people post about, I don't like to listen to X, or I don't like to do Y, or whatever. But, and then of course, Lila calls in, last week, which is a great fan of y'all's. I know, y'all hold her very dear, but, her complaints about Jeffrey, I seem to be one of the few that really enjoys Jeffrey and likes Jeffrey a lot. But, it really perplexes me that, those two
catch any hell, and Zach too, I guess. But while, Russell, the love muscle Johnson, got lauded for his recruiting coverage for about a year there by some of the same guys, I guess. The hypocrisy of the message board knows no bounds, but we don't have to get into all that.
No, and there's no point. It just it is what it is,
Flames.
Yeah.
You want a joke?
Sure.
All right, Lila, if you're listening, one thing, it's way past your bedtime, and two, you need to earmuff it for a minute, but
okay.
Just skip forward like 30 seconds. It'll be okay. It's not that bad, but
okay.
Lila sounded pretty young to listen to some of these jokes. So teacher walks into class, and they're all sitting there, and she says, today, we're going to say what we want to do when we grow up, and all hands go up, and she says, Jimmy, and Jimmy stands up, and he says, well, when I grow up, I want to be a doctor. She says, very good, and hands go up. She says, Billy, and Billy stands up and says, well, when I grow up, I want to be a police officer. He says, very nice, Billy, and she's looking, and she says, little Johnny, why don't you stand up and tell us what you want to be when you grow up? And he stands up, kind of proud, as he is a lot of days, and he says, when I grow up, I want to have, $1 million. He says, I want to have, all the best. I want to have, a house here and a house there. He says, and I want to have, I'm going to have the baddest bitch, and she's going to have, all the jewelry she wants and all the money she wants and a fast car and we're going to have a chef, and we're going to have a pool, and we're going to have, he just keeps going. And the teacher's just, at this point, says, okay, we get it. You're done. And so then the hands go up, and she says she's just trying to move on, and says, Annie, you stand up and tell us. And Annie stands up, and she says, well, I was going to say I wanted to be a veterinarian, but I think I want to be little Johnny's bitch. That's all I got, guys.
All right.
Y'all have a good night.
Appreciate it.
Good call.
That is soccer is final 2-0. LSU was 8-0 and ranked number 5 in the country.
Is that right?
No idea. So
wow.
LSU had already had this season wins over. Had pulled it up a second ago. Number 21 Arizona State, number 19 UCF, and number 15 South Florida.
I will tell you that soccer in Mississippi is getting better. As someone who sees a lot of soccer in Mississippi, it is absolutely getting better.
You do see it pretty
Yeah, a ton, and it is absolutely getting better.
Which increases your recruiting pool, does a lot of different stuff. I mean,
girls and boys, the quality of soccer is improving.
Mm-hmm.
The coaching's improving. The club play is improving. I watched a girls' game before Carson's game the other day that was intense. No joke. It was really good soccer that I'm not sure I saw 3 years ago. And maybe I wasn't looking for it, but I watched it the other day, and it was.
What's he playing, like U16 or what? How's that?
Yes, he plays 06, so he's U16. Okay.
Yeah.
They play some pretty intense soccer.
Really?
Yeah, I mean it gets pretty physical.
Seeing on Twitter that Christian McCaffrey has a hamstring injury, so that would definitely, depending on how he is, change some.
If it were a growing injury, Sam Malone could rap about it.
Good.
Okay. Thank you.
Panthers 7-0 over the Texans currently. Really dominated the game in all facets, but only up 7-0 there right now. Oh, App State's up 21-20 now with 4 seconds left in the first half.
Oh,
yeah,
it's been a hell of a game.
Yeah, something just went down.
It's been a hell of a game. App State did something right before the half, apparently. I bet App State's one hell of a party school.
It feels like they're always having a good time, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Calf injury thing on.
Those can be problematic. Scott Satterfield played at App State. I didn't know that.
He coached there.
He apparently played there. He was a quarterback. That's him on that little option play right there, number 7.
Okay.
Yeah. How about that? Cole says Reddit still trying to get the Manning cast going. They've affected the stock market this year, so why can't they do this? The Manning cast does seem to have some momentum. I have no idea whether any of the momentum is real or not.
Yeah, I know nothing from a pragmatic sense.
Yeah, it has a ton of social media momentum.
But those are contractual and things and more complicated.
App State is in Boone, North Carolina.
Correct. Yes.
In the mountains. Obviously, Appalachian makes sense.
Yeah.
I've never been to Boone. Feels like it would be
seems cool if you're from anywhere from that area.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, there's 100%.
It's a beautiful part of the country.
Somebody said Grant Tisdale's at CeeLa and not playing there.
Is that right?
Yeah. There's a thread on our board about it.
Huh. Halftime in Boone, by the way, 21-20, App State over Marshall.
You mentioned earlier when we're waiting on calls, it's a hell of an idea, but I don't know how you implement it. Jared Duke talking about Ole Miss needing a stadium song.
Oh, I'm glad you brought this up.
Going into the fourth quarter. Look, it works all over the country. You don't care if the whole stadium's doing it. If they are, great, but this is for players and students.
Wisconsin does it with Jump Around.
They do.
Oregon does it with
Shout.
Thank you.
Yeah, the ultimate wedding song.
Florida does it with Won't Back Down, which was, frankly, I got to be honest.
It's good.
Really cool.
It's good. That's one of the better ones.
I love to make fun of Florida, but I'll tip my hat.
State does the light show thing, but it can be pretty impressive with Don't Stop Believing.
Ole Miss is, no offense to everybody.
I know. No, go ahead.
I mean, I don't want to get attacked.
But it's not exactly drumming up.
It's awful.
Yeah.
No, it's awful. I Saw the Light. It's just, I don't know that you could come up with one worse than that.
It has to be.
I'm not trying to be mean either.
The words have to be known. It needs at least some type of upbeat tempo.
It's got to have some sort of a pop culture thing.
Well, yeah, that was a given.
Yes,
yeah,
right.
Yeah, rap, R&B, rock, whatever, but
something that the kids can get into.
Yeah, and something they know enough. Somebody said Michigan did Mr. Brightside for a while.
Yeah, and people know the words.
Yeah, which is important in this.
Well, you want them to stay to sing the song.
Yeah. Have the moment, let them whatever.
The truth is, the crowd meant something in Gainesville Saturday. Alabama does the song where they sing the bad lyrics with it, and they've tried to argue back and forth about whether you can do it or not. What's the song? Dixieland Delight?
Yeah. They've had some issues there. But
Randall says, I want Living on a Prayer. That would be fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
There's 10 or 15 options that make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
The board had like a DMX song today that made sense.
Yeah, like it doesn't have to be super cool either. It can just be fun.
Yeah.
There's nothing about I Saw the Light that is fun. Nothing.
No.
Nothing. Again, I don't want to piss people off, but there's nothing fun about that song. Jump Around is fun.
Jump Around's fun. Shout
fun. Is fun.
I mean, Shout might be just from a straight fun, might be the most fun song in the because it's at every wedding reception, just as everyone gets drunk enough to do it. That's when Shout's played at every wedding in the world.
You could play Crisscross, make you jump.
Sure.
But you got to come up with something, and I agree with Jared that Ole Miss is cool.
Frankly, we haven't been there. I saw that Paris Buchanan responded to Jared Duke and said that for 7 games in a row, Ole Miss has been doing Friends in Low Places.
Okay, that's much better than...
It's much better than I Saw the Light.
And it takes a while to make something a tradition.
But what you've seen at places is it doesn't take forever. It can be fairly quick. Now, it's going to take longer than a couple of games in a COVID season.
The only problem I have with Low Places is it's a little bit slow.
It's slow. That's the problem. Yeah, if there's a problem with it, it's that.
Oh,
what?
Joan Jett, you give love a bad name.
Okay.
That's not bad. What do you call a psychic midget who escapes from prison? A small medium at large.
Okay. Country is harder to work.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Especially, it's not. I mean, I know LSU can do calling Baton Rouge and stuff like that, but that's fast. I mean, that thing's moving.
Well, the truth is, the risk of pissing off people.
Yeah, sure.
LSU, Alabama, they have a better game day operation than Ole Miss does. Ole Miss can't quite figure it out. I think they're trying, obviously.
Yeah, they're repairing a lot of things.
Yeah, and you don't fix
everything
30 years of neglect in 2 weeks. I like what Avery says here. Now, it's dependent on keeping lane, but come on, ride the train.
Yeah.
Okay. You can get everybody to play along with that and have fun. Like what I noticed with Wisconsin, with Oregon, is that the players on the sideline were into it, which means the recruits are absolutely enthralled by it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the players, frankly, kind of key it a little bit.
Cole says, thank you for the super chat, Cole. He says, what are the best songs about crippling anxiety?
Yeah, we're not going to do Bird Pipe or anything here. We're gonna. It's the huge positive, Friends in Low Places, is that everybody knows the words. That's the biggest positive it has going for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Does that resonate with recruits? It's a little slow. I'm just playing it in my mind, and there's at no point where you kind of go, yeah.
Because Dixieland Delight is a country song that's kind of slow at times, but it has a cadence to it that kind of runs.
It does, and it has the spaces for you to fill in the gaps.
And they fill them in.
And the gaps are funny, and everyone stays to do that.
Yeah. Dixieland Delight's frankly kind of cool when they do it. It's kind of neat.
I mean, you giggle.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat.
It's something that, how do you keep kids staying? When it's 45-0 at the end of 3 and they can go to the bars and go drink, how do you get them to stay?
You made me laugh, Doris.
Yeah. Hey, who do we have?
This is JT.
Hey, JT, what's up?
Guys, y'all are missing out. The best song, that Geico commercial, Whoop, There It Is?
Yeah.
What do you think about that for the fourth quarter?
Whoop, there it is, Chase.
The best
that feels too
they're making
cliche.
the ice cream.
Say it again, JT.
The Geico commercial where they're making the ice cream and the chocolate and the sprinkles, and one of Geico's great commercials.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
Oh man, you're missing out. You know what song I'm talking about though? The Whoop, There It Is.
Yeah, I know,
we
that,
know
song
that song
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even I'm not even against what Blake's saying here. Dancing on the ceiling. I mean,
just fun stuff. Yeah,
people remember that. Yeah, you could get. Yeah.
I am with y'all. I think it needs to be a little more upbeat. I mean, just because everybody knows the words doesn't mean that it's going to be successful.
Yeah, even Here I Go Again by Whitesnake. Return to the Mac. That's a good one. See, we can come up with 30, which tells you that Low Places is not good.
Agreed.
It's
one
a
more
speed cadence thing.
Yeah.
The advice y'all gave Vivin earlier, isn't it just best to go ahead and just test the waters early? If it goes bad, just get the hell out right away.
I don't know. I mean, you hate for the whole relationship to fall apart over a football game.
But then if it does it now, aren't you just kicking the can down the road and just saying, well,
I mean,
you'll end up with
how
one
many
of these Bama weddings
like
coming up, like you're talking about a couple podcasts.
Well, I mean, how many days a year does Ole Miss play Alabama in football? One.
True.
So you could survive the one day if you just became an understood thing that, hey, this is a day we spend apart.
Yeah, but then it comes down to the wedding where, no phones allowed.
Well, you get married at a time that's fairly neutral, and if you play one song, you play them both, and at that point, the emotions aren't kicked in on. I mean, March the 22nd, if you got married that day, you're not going at each other's throat over what happened with the call on 3rd and 7.
I see your point. One more thing for you. Y'all talked about the Ryder Cup earlier. Neal, it might interest you. This course, it's right on Lake Michigan. This course is probably something like you've never seen before. It looks like it's something comes from the moon.
I've told people this before. So I drove from Milwaukee to Green Bay, and Lake Michigan was on my right the whole time, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And so if it's anywhere like that, I'm completely in.
Yeah, I mean, this course is really brilliant. If people don't get into the players, I think just seeing the course and how it's designed, and it's pretty cool. I think it's really a work of art that what they did with the land up there. Beautiful, beautiful country. So anyway, appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Thanks, JT. Is there a Katy Perry song that sticks out that would make sense?
Nothing that overly fits off the top of my head.
Okay.
I'm not up on our entire catalog, but the 3 or 4 that I would be able to know some words to.
Yeah. Casey wants to know what you're drinking.
Me?
Yeah.
Watermelon seltzer water. I mean, nothing.
Yeah.
I'm a teetotaler. Yeah, I think everybody thinks I have like an IPA or some like crazy ass like hoppy beer in front of me every time I do this. Like, yeah, no.
I do like the Panthers road suits. It's a good suit. Katy Perry firework, would that work?
I mean, it's the best one if you're going to pick a Katy Perry song.
Yeah.
But I feel like you can do better. I mean,
okay.
The only positive with Katy Perry is that she has become synonymous with Ole Miss.
Sure.
She's associated in no other way with any other school.
Which is why you might want to double down.
You can claim her.
Yeah. She might be willing to be claimed.
Yeah. Carolina's kind of playing with its food a little bit.
A little bit. They're kind of
making
struggling.
this kind of complicated.
Yeah, they're kind of fighting it.
Sam Darnold trying to actually have a little spurt here.
He's not bad.
Okay.
He's okay.
I'm assuming the White Sox are still way up in that division.
They clinched a playoff berth today.
Okay.
Yeah. They beat the Guardians.
Not yet.
The Guardians.
The chairs still stay
what
in the ends.
Joke. I mean, I might be inclined to embrace the whole Katy Perry thing.
There's McCaffrey.
Oh, he's not moving very well.
He's definitely limping.
Wild Thing by Tone Loc. Pour some sugar on me, push it.
I mean, there's a few of those traditional rock songs that haven't been claimed by anybody that are very, sure. I mean, everybody knows them.
Is that right? Arkansas has not beaten A&M since they joined the league?
I don't know.
Is that right? No way. Arkansas has been in the league 30 years, right?
Well, A&M hasn't.
That's true.
I mean.
I thought about that.
They don't get to.
Yeah. I mean, I just think about Arkansas. I was like, 30 years? Holy shit. When did A&M join the league? Like 91, 92?
A&M?
Yeah.
2012?
No shit. I don't remember.
With Missouri?
I lose track of time, man. I can remember what I did in a T-ball game when I was 6, but I can't remember stuff like that. That's probably right. Arkansas hasn't won that in 8, 9, 10 years. Since 2012. How about that?
Some bitch.
They're due. I don't think they get it done.
Yeah, A&M 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in a row.
Yeah. I think they win a touchdown game.
Arkansas's last win in the series was 42-38 in Arlington in 2011.
Wow.
They had won 3 in a row. They won in 9, 10, and 11.
And have lost ever since.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Arkansas 47-19, 24-17, 42-38.
Cole says I need people to call in and discuss the worst traditions Ole Miss has ever tried to start. Number 1 with the bullet is first fin. That was awful.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. You and I used to make fun of it every single time.
Don't leave out the motorcycle getting driven on the field there for a little while.
That was before my time.
Yeah, the chopper.
Which is probably good because I would have written about that.
The chopper.
I do remember first fin, and we would make fun of it. And people behind us would get mad at us for making fun of it.
Yeah.
I don't think Jump by Van Halen would do it. And I kind of like Van Halen, but
I don't think that works.
no.
I mean, it's very similar to Jump Around. You got to be careful there not to.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Hard to come up with something.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not easy. This is not.
No.
I mean, and you kind of only get one shot. Like, can't go, hey, we'll try this week, and the next week we'll try this, and the next week we'll try this. I mean, there is no dress rehearsal. It's just this.
You got to say, here's what we're going to do.
We're going to give it years to work.
And they're not good at that because they don't, in the past and now, they have a hard time going, here's what we're going to do, embrace it, or else.
Mm-hmm.
The bear, the shark. Do you think they hate us for talking about the damn mascot as much as we do? Do you think we frustrate them?
I don't think so because I think the mascot is so out of the. I mean, this is probably an issue. To me, the mascot is so out of the lexicon where nobody talks about the mascot inside this fan base. I mean, they make fun of the shark in a playful way, but in a lot of ways, it's not even like a negative, oh, we got to have something like, let's go get our fire and pitchforks. I mean, it's just sort of, oh yeah, that didn't work. That's dumb. Like look at the stupid shark over there. I mean, that's really kind of what it is. Try to find something by David Banner.
Casey wants to know, has there been any update on the Vaught Hemingway renovations?
Not that I've
Not that I've seen, yeah. They're going to try to raise a bunch of money and do something big.
I mean, they almost tried to get an insurance policy when the transformer blew with the issue right before the season started over there.
Probably should have just let it burn. Whoops.
It was funny. I had a buddy that as soon as it happened sent me a text, goes, hey, tell Keith to cut off the water. Like,
oops. What a shame.
Somebody got that policy handy? What's that say about fire and electrical issues?
Kind of like the Fidel house. Sorry. No one saw it burn.
I never expect to see any kind of enclosure on campus. I think that is a pipe dream.
Yeah.
I think we're... Yeah, Florida still does 2 bids.
Yeah, Florida's got a bunch of stuff.
They do. They're very active.
You'd sing The Boys of Florida. I guess they've punted that for Tom.
What is that?
They used to sing the Boys of Florida after the third quarter.
Don't know that.
And now it's Tom Petty, which is really cool. Boys of Florida was not.
It's not as known as Jump Around or a couple, but I'm telling you, I mean, as you mentioned, their Don't Back Down might be the best one.
It's
when
really
you play
good.
in everything together, that seriously might be the best one.
It's really good. It was, I mean, I watched it a couple of times. It was fantastic.
I mean, kind of taking our show full circle. I always get fascinated to see what songs politicians pick.
Yeah.
For their coming out, for their speeches and their inaugurations and acceptances and stuff like that.
Because Clinton's was Don't Stop Believing.
No, Clinton's was Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow.
Yeah.
What was Obama's?
He did Don't Back Down the first time, and then in 12 he did Signed, Sealed, and Delivered.
Oh, okay.
I think is what his back-to-back was. So, yeah. I don't remember Trump in 16.
Did Bush have one?
I don't recall what that was.
Because Bush never really got to celebrate on election night because both times it was held
that's
up.
True.
Kerry waited till the next day, even though it was pretty obvious.
Yeah, that's a good point. So.
I don't remember before that, like Reagan or.
That might not even been a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, frankly, that's one of those things that if you told me it started with Clinton, I wouldn't.
Could be.
I wouldn't be stunned there at all. I remember when she took the dim nod. I mean, as the worst candidate in potentially modern history, Hillary had "Fight Song" by Rachel Platten was what she used.
Ooh.
Yeah, but yeah, didn't.
An historically bad candidate running an historically bad campaign. When you read about that campaign,
I promise we're going to stop.
When you read about that campaign, like a deep dive from the people who were inside of it.
You knew it was coming, though, because you and I both read Game Change from 2008. That book where they did the McCain side, and then they did the dim with Edwards, Hillary, and Obama in 2008.
Yeah.
And even in 2008, Hillary's doing things and being the smartest person in the room, and Bill's over here going, hey, you need to focus on that. I'd probably do that. And they just ignore him.
Yeah.
I mean, say what you want to about Bill.
Oh.
One of the top politicians of our generation.
Ever.
I mean, so you might want to listen.
Yeah.
I mean, in 2016, he said, hey, the Rust Belt might be a problem. You might want to go to Michigan and Wisconsin.
You need to go back over there. Yeah. You need to
want
keep
to do something
going
up there? Well, that was a problem.
Yeah. Bill told Hillary's people, Trump's beating you there. Oh, no. He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then by the time they listened to him, it was too late.
Yeah.
Because they didn't listen to him until Election Day.
Not much we can do
Literally that day, they're like, oh, God, we have a problem. And he said, yeah, I've been telling you this. I do think Ole Miss would have been served to go live bear. Embrace the bear, get a bear, be done with it.
But it's not like you just go down to the pet store and you bring a bear in. I mean,
no, I know. I get it.
You're building a zoo on campus at that point.
Well, LSU has Mike the Tiger, and it really works.
It does.
Every time I go to Baton Rouge, I'm like, oh, God, there's Mike.
I mean, UNA has lions.
You couldn't get a bear?
They have 2 lions at UNA, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I would have embraced the bear.
The bear could have worked.
Yeah.
Had a chance.
Yeah. Texans about to tie it up with 25 seconds to go in the half. Assuming the PAT, it'll be 7-7.
JM, there's a lot of stuff that is disturbing that I know, but it is what it is.
About what?
Well, he just says disturbing. You know this, Chase.
Well, you and I are both pretty fascinated about politics.
Yeah. Campaigns are one of my really weird
for sure.
things.
Oh, you missed the kick, 7-6.
I don't even care about governing nearly like I just like campaigns.
Oh, no, I like campaigns.
Yeah. Oh.
Like, I'm already looking forward to the 2024 campaign because it's got fascinating written all over it.
We might be insufferable for that 6 months.
Well, because I don't think they can run him.
Yeah.
And yet I don't think they want to run her, which puts them on this weird clock.
We talked about this a couple weeks ago, Kenton. I think you're right, but Uga has lost so much appeal for me that he says the best live mascots are Mike, Uga, Bevo, and Ralphie. 3 of those are guaranteed.
For sure. But I'm with you on Uga. It's so inbred now that it feels like
I just feel sorry for the dog.
It feels like animal abuse.
Yeah. I no longer feel like that's some guarantee.
They had 2 at UNA, by the way. One's passed away, and Leo is still there.
Okay. Una passed, and Leo is still there. Una, because it spells UNA.
Ralphie is an awesome mascot.
But
when you go to the LSU campus and look at Mike's enclosure, I'm sorry, you can hate LSU all you want, but that is badass.
Yeah. Oh, he's
majestic.
The best mascot in the country is Mike or Ralphie, and you can take your pick on how you'd like to.
It's Mike.
I think. Well, he's certainly the most popular.
Yeah, it's Mike.
He's the alpha in the.
Because he's a badass.
Yeah. I don't know what else is kind of in there.
Mike's the best live tiger, and Aubie's the best mascot, pretend tiger.
Yeah, the best dress-up thing. Yeah, they've got to get away from. And I think did they this time get away from the Uga thing a little bit? Did they back off?
I don't know. Have they?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because they got where they weren't living but like 1 year.
Yeah, they can't live.
Yeah.
I mean,
which feels like it defeats the purpose when you look at Mississippi State's Bulldog and Butler's Bulldog and Louisiana Tech's Bulldog. Those Bulldogs live. When they die that fast, it's abuse.
Neal's a better. I know he wasn't like old necessarily or anything, but alive. My 80s knowledge is not very good. Frankly, if you told me an era where I struggle, it's the 80s. So I don't know how to compare 80. Reagan.
Well, I was a kid still, but I've studied it a lot. There was such Carter fatigue and Reagan had been on the spotlight for so long that it was dominant. And then Reagan won in a landslide again in 84 over Mondale. So it's hard to – that's like comparing Babe Ruth to Mike Trout.
Was Mondale where he only won one state?
Yeah.
Literally.
Mondale had the debate where Reagan had the great line where he said, I can't remember how he did it, but he used his age in a way that was really funny.
That's right.
And even Mondale laughed.
That's right.
And it was over.
That's right. And then clearly it was over from the beginning, but sure.
But I grew up, so my grandmother, Mildred, at the time, absolutely adored Ronald Reagan. And it was understood that you could not say anything about Reagan that was not 100,000,000% favorable. So you just kind of left it alone. Yeah. And he was very likable. He was the great communicator. He was the Republican a Republican older Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
One of the questions was, you think Trump runs in 24? I don't.
I don't either.
I think Trump's running interference right now.
And it's 3 years is a long.
Yeah, I think he's running interference for a while.
I don't doubt that.
And I don't even know that it's going to be DeSantis, because you're the guy in 21 doesn't mean you'll be the guy in 24.
Sure. You don't win elections in 21.
Yeah. I don't have any. Just looking at it today, if you said who are the candidates in 24, man, it's a wide open race, because I don't think it's Kamala. And I don't think it's Trump. And so it opens it wide open. I don't think she can win. Her approval rating is almost as bad as Biden's today. So we've gone from one president with a terrible approval rating to another president with a terrible approval rating, and a vice president whose approval rating is pretty bad every time she talks. And so the field pretty much wide open, and the country's never been more divided. We all hate each other. So it's a weird – it's there for someone to be this great uniter, communicator, but – I don't know how somebody comes and does that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we go from talking about a badass live bear to past presidents. It's Thursday night on a bye week.
There's nothing tonight.
Before they play Alabama, and there's only so much Alabama you can do.
I mean, I didn't know we were, we've unintentionally discussed Bill Clinton for like 47 minutes today.
Michelle Obama would be a wild card. I mean, that would be a potential game changer if she ran.
I think the U.S., kind of going full circle, I really think the U.S. is going to win the Ryder Cup, but I've got a group message chat thing going off. Says you can get Europe at plus 220 from a money line standpoint with a golf tournament head-to-head. Plus 220 is big odds.
Yeah.
That's good return on money right there at plus 220 for anybody who wants to dip into it and support the blue on the weekend.
Do you get into it? Do you cheer? Or do you just watch?
Yeah, I'm
Does
not
it
going
matter
to stand
to you?
up.
I mean,
I'd like for them to win.
I mean,
on
Jeffrey's
home soil.
waving the flag. I mean, are you?
Yeah, it's the one time. It's the once out of 104 weeks that he roots against Roy McIlroy.
Yeah.
For a week, they're enemies.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing what he does. I feel like they need to win their home games. I mean, if they lose over there, it doesn't really bother me as much, but it does bug me when we get to pick the course, we get to set up the course, and we lose with the best players. That means we have team issues. It means we don't pick people set up for
sure
for that. So Jeffrey is currently in that group text telling everybody that the odds are that because they're not going to win. That you're getting hooked by Vegas right now at plus 220.
He says Europe's winning.
No, he says the U.S. is winning. That they're wanting people to bet on Europe at plus 220 because the U.S. is going to win. He closed with trendy dogs have fleas. So.
All right, I got a question. How do you watch CBS? How do you stream CBS? Can you stream CBS?
Yeah, they have a CBS Sports app thing.
Is it like just log into your internet provider?
I think. I could be wrong, but I think so.
Because I'd like to watch A&M in Arkansas if it gets close,
and
I'll be at a soccer field.
Oh, yeah. Well, it'll still be available to stream on ESPN, though, won't it?
No, because it's CBS.
It's still not at all. You can't even do anything. Okay, yeah,
Uh-uh.
you can stream CBS. It's. I mean, they run it through a browser, like on my computer too.
Okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
I got to find it.
Yeah, you can get it. Yeah, I don't think we're going to call Lila. I don't know her number.
Yeah, I don't know Lila's number. It's the Paramount app.
Oh, that's changed. But either way.
Okay. I think Carson has that, so I'll get that. Paramount Plus.
Okay. That's easy enough.
We have a subscription to that because he watches soccer on that, I think.
On Paramount?
I think so.
Okay.
He watches Peacock and Paramount.
I knew NBC did a lot, yeah.
Yeah. NBC does. The Peacock app for
Pretty good.
English Premier League is great.
Get pretty much anything?
Yeah. It's great.
When does their schedule run? When does it start and end?
Similar to the NFL. And they're in season now. What confuses me is that they have English Premier League games, then they'll have like these different league games in the middle of the week that I don't understand what that is.
Okay.
And I get lost.
So it doesn't really count, but it does?
What counts in a different standing? Yeah. It's
a little too complicated.
It's a little much, frankly. Like Tottenham will play an English Premier League game, then they'll play a European whatever game against a team in the English Premier League. And it's like, but so does that count? And he's like, no, that doesn't count. I'm like, well, why?
So you go on a run against the wrong teams at the wrong time and make up no standing in the table at all.
Yeah. Yet you get the win, which allows you to move closer to some cup somewhere.
Which who gives?
And I don't like which cup matters because the Euros.
Well, if anybody offered you the EPL table win or a cup somewhere, you want the table win.
I think so. I mean, the Euros, the Euro thing was cool. Like that tournament, that was awesome. Like over the summer, that was great. But I get lost. Premier League, FA Cup, Champions League. Yeah, like he's like, this is an FA Cup game. It's my brother. I don't think he wants to call into the show.
You think he's just calling you?
It's my guess. I could try. Let's see. Ryan, are you calling into the show or are you calling to talk to me?
Oh, you on the show right now?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I was just going to tell you.
I'm on the show. We're on the show. We're on the show.
Okay, well, then I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, bye.
I mean, I kind of like to know the predicate now. I'm going to be
Yeah, I just felt bad. But I saved him. All right. Well, I got a feeling next week's going to be pretty interesting. So we'll leave it there. Thanks to everybody for joining us. We'll have full week of shows next week, full week of content. Ole Miss and Alabama next Saturday, 2:30. We'll be on right after the show and go for potentially a long time.
We will be letting you guys celebrate. We will be playing Therapist. We will be looking ahead to Arkansas. We'll do plenty.
For sure. Show. So until then, for Chase, I'm Neal. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll be back with you on Monday morning.